Welcome to Module 5 of the GED Social Studies course. In this lesson, we'll focus on U.S. history, a major part of the social studies test. You'll explore key historical periods, major events, and significant figures that shaped the United States. Everything here is tailored to help you succeed on the GED exam, clear, focused, and test-ready. Before the United States became a nation, it was made up of colonies ruled by Britain. The 13 colonies. Britain established 13 colonies along the eastern seaboard of North America. These were divided into 3 regions: New England, Middle, and Southern colonies. Many colonists came seeking freedom, land, and economic opportunity. Growing tensions with Britain. Over time, Britain began taxing the colonies to help pay for the French and Indian War. Laws like the Stamp Act and Tea Act angered colonists. The phrase, "no taxation without representation," became their rallying cry. They believed they shouldn't be taxed without having a voice in Parliament. The American Revolution, 1775 to 1783. Tensions exploded into violence at Lexington and Concord, marking the start of the American Revolution. Colonists fought to gain full independence from British rule. In 1776, Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence, formally stating that the colonies were now free and no longer under British control. After winning independence, the United States needed to build a new government. This part explains how the Constitution shaped the foundation of the country. Articles of Confederation, First Government. The Articles of Confederation created the first U.S. government after the Revolution. It gave most power to the states and made the national government too weak. It couldn't collect taxes or regulate trade effectively. U.S. Constitution, 1787. In response to those problems, leaders met to draft a new plan, the U.S. Constitution. This created a stronger federal government with 3 branches: executive, president; legislative, Congress; judicial, courts. Each branch was designed to check the power of the others, creating a system of checks and balances. Bill of Rights, 1791. To ensure citizens' rights were protected, the first 10 amendments were added to the Constitution. These are called the Bill of Rights. They include key freedoms like freedom of speech, religion, the press, the right to bear arms, and protection from unfair government actions. In the 1800s, the U.S. expanded its territory, but this growth also led to deep divisions that would erupt into civil war. Let's explore the key events that shaped this period. Manifest destiny. The idea of manifest destiny was the belief that the United States was destined to expand westward across the continent, all the way to the Pacific Ocean. This belief drove the acquisition of new territories, including Texas, Oregon, and California, and led to displacement of Native American populations. The Civil War, 1861 to 1865. The Civil War was fought between the North, Union, and the South, Confederacy. Major causes included the expansion of slavery into new territories, disputes over states' rights, economic differences between the industrial North and the agricultural South. President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, which declared enslaved people in Confederate states to be free. The Union's victory preserved the United States and led to the formal end of slavery. The Reconstruction era, 1865 to 1877. After the war, the U.S. entered a period known as Reconstruction, aimed at rebuilding the South and integrating formerly enslaved people into society. Key changes included 13th Amendment, abolished slavery. 14th Amendment, granted citizenship to all people born in the U.S. 15th Amendment gave African American men the right to vote. These constitutional changes were major steps towards civil rights, although challenges and inequality remained. In this section, we'll cover the rise of industry, major social changes like women's suffrage, and the U.S. role in 2 world wars. Industrial growth. In the late 1800s, the United States experienced rapid industrialization and urban expansion. Key inventions like the telephone, the electric light bulb, and Henry Ford's assembly line revolutionized communication, daily life, and manufacturing. Cities grew as factories expanded, and immigration surged as people sought new economic opportunities in industrial jobs. Women's suffrage. As the nation grew, so did demands for equality. Women organized and protested for the right to vote. After decades of activism, the 19th Amendment was ratified in 1920, granting women the right to vote in national elections. World Wars. The U.S. entered World War I in 1917, joining the Allies to help bring the war to an end in 1918. Later, during World War II, the U.S. joined the conflict in 1941, following the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. American military and industrial power played a key role in defeating Germany, Italy, and Japan by 1945. This section explores the civil rights movement and key events in recent U.S. history that shaped modern America. Civil rights movement, 1950s, 1960s. The civil rights movement aimed to end racial segregation and promote equality for African Americans. Key figures included Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who led nonviolent protests, Rosa Parks, whose arrest sparked the Montgomery bus boycott, and Malcolm X, who advocated for Black empowerment. Major laws like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 outlawed discrimination and protected voting rights. Recent history. Cold War, 1947–1991. A period of tension between the U.S. and the Soviet Union involving political ideologies, arms races, and proxy wars. 9/11 attacks, 2001. Terrorist attacks on U.S. soil led to new national security measures and the War on Terror. Great Recession, 2008. A major financial crisis that caused widespread job loss, foreclosures, and economic instability. Now that you've learned the major events, let's go over some key tips to help you answer U.S. history questions on the GED. Look for cause and effect. Understand what led to major events. Example, slavery, Civil War. Know the purpose of key documents. Example, the Declaration of Independence explained why the colonies broke away from Britain. Memorize key amendments and laws. Focus on the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments and acts like the Civil Rights Act 1964. Think chronologically. Use timeline logic to determine what happened first and how it influenced future events. Recognize big themes. Watch for recurring ideas: freedom, rights, westward expansion, conflict, and reform. Let's take a quick moment to review the most important points you've learned in this U.S. history lesson. The U.S. began with 13 British colonies and gained independence after the Revolutionary War. The Constitution set up the framework for American government. America expanded west, fought a civil war, and entered the Industrial Age. 20th century events include world wars, civil rights, and global conflicts like the Cold War. The GED test emphasizes understanding historical change, major figures, and why events matter, not just memorizing dates.